Waiting for the
We're
eyeball.
live.
Yeah, all right. All right, everybody, welcome. We're live. This is the weekly Strength Club Q&A. This week is going to be practical cooking for strength training, third or worst edition. I'm here with Mick, and Chase Lindley. How's it going, guys?
Doing good.
Going good, fellas. What's going
Yeah.
on?
I'm
I'm particularly excited about this episode.
Yeah, Mick has been petitioning for the cooking episode for a good minute now.
I believe the next episode is also going to be starting strength for fat people. So that should be
I don't even know what that means.
cracker.
Does that mean how to lift while being fat, or does that mean?
I think so. Yeah, it's like, if you're worried about starting, because I know a lot of questions people have is, should I starting strength if I'm obese? Because people are sort of worried about actually putting on more weight.
Right.
Doing starting strength.
Okay, so people who are like, oh, I don't want to get bulky and gain 20 pounds of muscle.
Yeah, I don't want to get I don't want to get much stronger. And
you don't drink the gallon of milk and just fucking gain 20 pounds.
All right, next episode, it's going to be doing starting strength while being aggressively American and very
yeah, starting strength for Americans.
For Oklahomans in particular.
Yeah.
Chase, is Oklahoma a pretty fat state?
I think it's like ranked 4th, or it's in the top 5 for sure of the fattest states.
Fattest.
I think
states.
number one is
number one. Is number
what's
one.
your bet for number one?
It's Mississippi, I think.
Alaska,
no, fuck no. It's like Mississippi, Alabama.
Oh. Okay. No, Chase, you guys are number 4 now. Congratulations.
Yep.
Yeah, we got Mississippi, West Virginia, Arkansas, then Oklahoma.
See, Arkansas and Oklahoma are just right next to each other, so it's just
they're so close. They're neck and neck.
We're battling out, dude.
Tennessee and Kentucky, obesity rate is like exactly the same. So the Colonel in Tennessee, they're neck and neck right now.
Well, whenever you look at it on a map, like the political map, it looks like a piece of chicken being fried in a pan.
Yeah.
That's why they're fat.
That's exactly what it is. Are you in a fat part of Australia, Mick?
No, I'm in the middle of the city, so it's a less fat. We're actually the second fattest country in the world. So
are you?
Really?
Yeah.
Australia?
Yep.
I know Saudi Arabia is really gunning for it. Percentage of obese adults. Obese countries by rate. Africa and Asia, they're doing really good. They're at like 0 to 5% of people for the most part, I would say.
Wait, what's America at? America's like 30 or 40, aren't they?
Yeah, this is kind of a really funny map. It's just like aggressively dark red everywhere else but Africa and Asia.
So wait, who's first then if we're not?
Okay.
No, Australia's second. I think America's first.
All right, I got to pull this up. Hold on, everybody.
We're just pull it up, Jamie.
Yeah. This is just interesting.
We got Johnny G in the chat, man. He said, "Hi guys." What's up, Johnny?
What's up, Johnny?
All right, everybody. Obesity rates by country is what we're checking out right now. Here's the cool part. What's
going on in Nauru?
There's a lot of like tiny islands where, so there's 11,000 people on this island. 61% of them are obese. So if you can do a chin up on this island, you're like top percentile of attractiveness. Yeah, you're a god there. All of these are, So just basically top 3, 6, not top 10 tiny islands. Everybody's very obese. And then we have Kuwait. Everybody's super rich off of oil money. Everybody's obese. No one's going outside. Kuwait's at 37.9. Then America's coming in at 36.2.
Nice.
Where did you think Australia was, Mick?
I thought Australia was second, but maybe that's in the free world.
In the
developed world.
Developing in some direction.
Yeah, the ones that count.
Okay, so it seems like America again dabbing on the Middle East. We seem to have thoroughly beaten the Middle East here.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, America again. Oh wait, you guys can't see all of this.
No,
it's you.
You should have told me that, man. There we go. Yeah. Okay. So we got all the islands. Then we had the United States. Then all of the middle. Actually,
New Zealand's ahead of Australia. Nice.
That's surprising. I thought New Zealand was going to be a bunch of like health-loving hippies.
I wonder if it's got to do with because they have a pretty big Pacific Island population down there. Maybe it's to do with that as well. Because all those islands that you've got listed in the top 10 are all Pacific Islands.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As
a Pacific Islander, I feel obese on the inside.
Yeah, I still call bullshit on that.
So I think for America to beat Kuwait and to firmly take our place ahead of the Middle East again, we need like almost like another percent, almost 2%.
Another 3 million fatties.
Exactly. Yeah, we need a few more million fatties, which
Yep.
should be no problem at all for us.
Mm.
And then we can, you know what? Actually, we probably reduced obesity rates in Iraq by a good bit. Actually,
Hope so.
G-Lock. Yeah.
Bigger targets? You mean because they're bigger targets? Is that what you mean?
Yes. They couldn't run away from our drones.
Yeah, the drone picked them up more easily.
G-Lock was in Kuwait. G-Lock, how obese was Kuwait? It seems to be more fat than America. Do you even own an air fryer? Who owns an air fryer? Chase has an air fryer and Mick does, right?
I got one. Yeah.
Yeah. There's the air fryer segment.
I mean, might be one of the greatest inventions that I've ever bought.
Mm-hmm. G-Lock also has an air fryer. Let us know how fat Kuwait was. I'm actually quite curious about that. Saudi Arabia.
Can you scroll down Australia?
Okay, we can't even find it. It just sucks, man.
There it is.
You're not even in 30%, man.
I know, we're behind Canada. Jeez.
You beat out Mexico. That's a huge surprise.
That is.
That is a huge surprise.
Yeah.
Okay. Canada and Australia are real close. Mexico, apparently crawfish makes you super strong. Pete, yeah, in the chat. How's it going, Pete?
And Duck Tran.
Is that how you pronounce that name, Mick?
I'm just going with Duck Tran because those letters. Well, it's got a D with a dash through it. I don't know what that means. Maybe it's Duck Tran.
Duke Tran. Let us know. Give us a phonetic pronunciation of how to pronounce Duck Tran. But yeah, okay. Who's the least obese country? As soon as we get into Africa, it's
gonna be like, it's gonna be Angola or Ethiopia.
Cuba at 25. It's just amazing that it's still 25%, and you're this low on the list for 25. Ukraine is at 24% and rapidly lowering. I don't know why. They're probably they're tanking.
A few years whenever all that politician money has just been flooding in there and all the political elite will get fat.
Germany 22.3, Finns 22. Who's in the teens? Who's the first in the teens? Netherlands 20.
Yeah, it's going to be a country where they've got no cars. And
Azerbaijan. Who even knows what's going on there? They're at 19.9. Ecuador. This is a huge surprise. What the fuck? I thought I would have passed Italy a while ago. Italy, boys, is only at 19.9%. That's a huge surprise. Chase, do you have any Italian in you? Do either of you guys have Italian in your bloodline?
Chase have Italian. Chase has got 0% Italian in him.
There's no Italian.
Chase is 99.9% Nordic god. That's what comes up in his DNA test.
What is the actual nationality breakdown for you, Chase?
I don't know. I've never tested it, but I'm pretty sure the Lindley side of me that came from Yorkshire. So Yorkshire, been Viking, right? Because that's whenever they kind of invaded that part of Britain. I've seen some of it. It's been in Ireland, so maybe some Gaelic. I don't really know that. And then my mother's maiden name was Smith, so that's just who knows? That's a mutt's name.
Oh, that's totally lost, man.
Yeah, maybe Dutch. Who knows?
The Dutch Smith.
Yeah, the Vikings really did just rape their way through the entirety of Europe. I guess that's where you're.
G-Lock.
And they're so placid now. It's kind of weird, isn't it?
He said the Kuwaiti citizens were more obese than a large percentage of migrant workers. Yeah, I wonder if these are counting, if like this census in Kuwait is counting in all the migrant workers there. But so the Kuwaiti citizens are just plump. They're plump people. Is what's going on there. Okay, so the first country in below 10, Liberia, the Congo, Benin, Guinea, Bissau, Nigeria, Senegal. Who's the lowest? What's your bet on the lowest before I scroll down?
Oh, I said Angola. Fuck.
You said Angola? Did we pass Angola already?
No, it's at the bottom there.
How do you know Angola's about Angola?
Coming in 8.2. Mick, do you have a bet for the least obese country?
No, it's going to be somewhere in Africa. I mean, I think it should be the least fat country that actually, has a reasonable economy. I think that should be the bet.
Okay, this one I totally do not believe. China. I totally do not believe this.
Look, it's below North Korea, which I definitely don't believe.
Yeah. This one, these numbers seem starting to get a little fishy here. So famine-based North Korea is at 6.8.
Yeah, we're into famine territory now. Although Singapore 6%. I don't know if I buy that either.
That's a state mandated thing. They just kill you immediately as soon as you're obese. Jail.
I've been to Singapore, and I don't know if I believe that.
You
Is there a
think?
bunch of fat people in Singapore?
I reckon. Yeah, they got good food over there.
Afghanistan's coming to 5.5. This is we're getting into okay. Here we
South
go.
Korea,
Vietnam.
4%.
It's
Bullshit.
Vietnam, everybody. That's what they're listing as the least obese. And I bet you 8 million of these are Americans who are there.
Probably.
They're the deposited Americans. Okay, we're going Bangladesh into Vietnam. All right, everybody. That was the obesity review. So hopefully your bets played off.
Hopefully you will learn something from that.
Yeah, I did. I know that China is now doubly lying about their obesity rates.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. All right. We're talking cooking, guys. So are you guys into cooking, Mick, Chase?
I am.
Yeah, I mean, I like eating, so I think.
How did you guys get into it? Was there kind of like a watershed moment where you realized you were like, man, I am shit at cooking, and then you decided to like get into it, or what was it that just for you guys?
Well, why don't you tell your story? Your story is probably more interesting, Chase. Given that you basically were force-fed as a 13-year-old.
Oh no. So like growing up, it was just my dad and my sister and me. So like it's the world's worst cook, and I mean I love the man to death, but he's fucked up spaghetti. I'm like, how do you fuck up spaghetti? Like he'd make it like bone ass dry. I'm like, what happened? Like I saw you pour the whole entire container of tomato sauce in it, and it's evaporated. I don't know.
Yeah,
it just pissed me off, man. So I got into my head very early on as like, if I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna have to start cooking, and it started from like cooking eggs, very simple, to we had a propane grill, and I would just cook any meat that I could get my hands on. So, steak.
How old were you when you started grilling? Grill master.
About 13, 14. Okay. And it was just like,
a lot of years.
But it was like shitty pork chops. I mean, these things were just like, ass end of whatever animal I'm eating, And
you're like, ooh, I can eat the ass too.
Yeah, exactly. And it was shit, man. Like I would either overcook it or I would undercook it, and it was more so on the undercooked side. And I'd fucking almost eat like borderline raw meat. And I was like, fuck, I'm not going out again and recooking this. It was terrible. And then you learn from your mistakes, and you know how to like manage the heat. You know how to manage what places you need to put on the grill, and all that stuff, and how to properly maintain it. But from there, it's kind of gone into like the cast iron realm, because now I'm in like apartments and various urban settings to where I can't have a grill. So from there, like going into pasta, I've been cooking a bunch of like chicken pasta with Phoebe. She's helped a lot, man. She's very good about like seasonings and kind of just being really creative in the kitchen. So like chicken pasta has been on the menu a lot. But here recently I've been kind of eating just like very typical stuff, a meat of some sorts, a carb, white rice, potatoes, and then, like pork tenderloin is what I've been kind of used to in the past, where I have to now bake and broil my meat. So that's a little bit different than just grilling it now.
Do you like baking the whole tenderloin, or do you just cut it into chops?
So what I do is I cook the whole entire thing, but I'll sear it in the cast iron, right? So I have all the sides seared, and then I plop it into the oven for about like 15 minutes on like 360. Bam, you're good to go until it hits like an.
Are you on gas, by the way, in your place?
Electric.
You're on electric. Cast iron electric is hard.
Yeah. How do you deal with the smoke from the cast iron in your apartment?
You just have a vent, man, and
but you still gotta. It's still smoke.
Yeah, but you just have to manage the heat, right? Like I'm not gonna put it like on high heat just to cook my meats, because cast irons heat up very quickly and they retain a bunch of heat. So, man, I'm probably like within, if like it has like a 10 count for like the heat, I'm sitting around like an 8, probably at the most.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a big thing about cooking is learning the smoke point of the oil that you're at. So one of the big mistakes that I made whenever I started to get into cooking, I would just take everybody's advice on like, well, this is just what the healthy fat is. I'm just going to use this. I'm going to use butter because it's an animal fat. It's good for me. And then not really think about the smoke point of what I was doing. So I was like, anytime I'm trying to get like a good browning or fond going on my meat, my butter would taste burnt. My butter would taste acrid because I just wasn't using the right oil. So like learning smoke points, that's definitely a big one.
What oil do you guys normally use now?
Chase?
Mine's a standard olive oil. Sometimes I'll use like some more expensive olive oil, but not really.
It's not so much the smoke; it's more just the smell that needs to go, because your whole house, especially when you're in an apartment, your whole house.
I love that smell whenever you have like you're grilling some steak out on the cast iron, and just like as soon as it sears and has all that smoke, oh, I fucking love that.
Yeah, but you don't want your entire apartment just smelling like that.
I do. It's fine. It's like a scented candle, dude.
See, so here's the problem: is it's not like if I have bad airflow in my apartment, so it will smell like that for days.
Yeah.
If I'm like, oh, I'm gonna caramelize some onions, let's do that, and I'll have that going for an hour or two. The outside, the hallway will smell like onions for like a day and a half. It's crazy. So I started like window open, fan on, sliding door to the balcony open. Every single time.
Yeah.
And we're just going to leave this up for the rest of the show. Mick, if you're cast iron smoking a lot, it means you're a shit cook. Yeah, Cool Dude 69. This is a good one. Olive oil is for me because it has a really high smoke point. Yeah, for sure.
I'll go with
heat management is a big one.
Yeah.
Mick?
I'll go with coconut oil. It's not even coconut oil. What's the MCT oil. That's you can cook that.
Really?
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Okay.
But it doesn't taste like coconut. It just tastes like nothing.
Have you ever used peanut oil? I've done that too. Like I'll use peanut oil. I'm not a big fan. Stuff, but
peanut oil for potatoes, for like anything you're frying. Yeah. Oh my god, dude. Oh, grapeseed oil.
Yeah.
I actually haven't really experimented with grapeseed oil much. I'm an avocado oil guy for anything that I have to do with the high.
What about rapeseed oil? Are you guys into that?
So I think I don't know why they haven't rebranded it, but rapeseed is linseed. If you've heard of linseed before, that's what rapeseed is.
I guess you're just never going to forget about rapeseed.
I don't know why they don't call it something else. I feel like at this point,
it's brilliant marketing
in the marketing, I would change the name. Yeah. Ben Lacasse in the chat. Sam's Club and Costco. That's the place to buy oil. If you're going to buy oil, it's Sam's Club and Costco for sure. 90% sold around the world is something else. Yeah, the oil purity thing. I don't know if you guys have ever looked into this. There's like a lot of purity gradings for oil. Like even if you get like olive oil, there can sometimes be like this is like 40%, like vegetable oil, but with like some amount of olives on it. There's a lot in the oil world. Mick, how did you get into cooking? We didn't go for you. How did you start?
Yeah, probably similar story to Chase. Really, my mum wasn't a great cook when we were growing up and just refused to use salt. I think because her own mother basically tried to pickle her as a child with the amount of salt that she used in her and oil she used in her cooking. So at some point, I think I was probably like 19 or 20. I just, my mum decided she was going to stop cooking for me. So I kind of just had to go and learn.
You were just microwaving chicken tenders?
I was a terrible cook back then. Yeah, I was cooking just toast and eggs and stuff, and badly cooking steak very poorly. And I think I just got pissed off at how bad a cook I was, and I just decided to learn how to do it properly. So, it's taken a while though. I don't particularly think I'm a great cook, but I do some things pretty well. Like I think I can cook a steak pretty well. And I got into cooking with a sous vide about 6 or 7 years ago, which was that was good stuff too. And
what do you have do you keep a big watery tub in the kitchen? Like do you have what vessel do you sous vide in?
Yeah, I use a
pot or what?
No, it's a food grade plastic tub basically.
Okay.
With a lid with the hole cut out so I can put the sous vide through it, and that it doesn't I put it away in the cupboard when I'm not using it. But I mean, in terms of you were sort of saying before, I think people who struggle to eat a lot of chicken breasts, which seems to be a staple of strength training or bodybuilding, that is the way to cook chicken breasts perfectly every time. They stay moist. You cook them at 60 degrees Celsius, whatever that is in Fahrenheit. And you can batch cook them as well, and then you just put them in the fridge, and then you take them out and sear them on both sides, and you've got a perfectly cooked chicken breast every single time. So
sous vide is a really interesting concept.
Yeah, that's what I was doing that for a long time. That's the way I was having chicken breast, but I sort of chicken breasts get a bit boring after a while. So
now you move to thighs. Now you're a thigh man.
I'm a thigh man. Yes.
Me too, buddy.
Yeah.
Me too. But yeah, so how I got into cooking was I was fat as shit as a kid. My mother, terrible cook. So like a very common dinner for me would be like Ritz crackers with butter and jelly on it, and like
Nice.
3 or 4 Twix bars. The only meal that she would really ever cook would be like chicken breasts that that had like this pre-made store breading in them, and then she would like kind of deep fry those. Basically, I just ate like junk food and fast food for my entire
Sounds
childhood.
awesome. I mean, what are you complaining about?
That's what I did,
It was
man.
great. Yeah, yeah. See, here's the thing: some people turn out athletic, like Chase, if they do
No,
that.
I hated it, dude. Like I remember, so Brahms here is like a big ice cream sandwich shop here, and dude, we ate
Ice
there.
cream
I think it was like
sandwich.
the third time in a week, and I was like, Dad, I'm not eating, and like I refused to eat, and he's like, you have to eat, son. I'm like, no, I'm not fucking eating this shit anymore. It pissed me
Eat your
off.
ice cream.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not eating this shit.
You don't get dessert if you don't eat your ice cream.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's funny. But yeah, I honestly just had such a misconception about like the upper capacity for cooking because we didn't really eat out much because we lived pretty far away from society. And then like basically it was just like school food, which was also shit. So I didn't really start cooking until I moved in with a like a fresh off the boat Chinese kid. His parents owned a Chinese restaurant in Boston. He had done his like most of his primary school in China, and then I lived with him in college. He taught me how to cook. So my introduction to cooking was starting to cook Chinese food more than anything. Greg, if you remember Greg knew me in college, G-Lock. If you remember Nelson, I don't remember Nelson, but that was Nelson. But yeah, so he was the guy who taught me how to cook. He taught me knife skills. Like if we were prepping anything, like let's say if he needed
gangland fights in the streets as well, were you?
Man, I wish. But no, like if we were making, let's say, like mapo tofu or any sort of Chinese soup or anything like that, I would do all the vegetable prep. That's how I kind of learned how to do all my knife skills with like a Chinese like vegetable chopper, and then like eventually started learning how to cook meats and everything. And then since then, it's been a thing. If I can get my hands on a cookbook, or if I can get my hands on some good like cooking shows, that's it for me. What do you guys watch any cooking shows that are like staples for you for advice or for learning?
Nah,
really, man.
I'm not.
Nah.
I used to watch Anthony
guys
Bourdain, but that's more for the entertainment factor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool dude. Yeah, I feel like if you had a mom who knew how to cook, oh man,
Fuck, man, that's game changer.
that's the dream.
Yeah. I mean, I liked, my grandma's cooking was great. She's old school Polish woman, used to deep fry potatoes, make her own chicken soup. That was good stuff.
I feel like everybody's grandma knew how to cook.
Well, mine did not, dude. I had fucking my one of my grandmothers made goulash, and I was like, "What the fuck is goulash?" That word always was like,
What is this?
Yeah, ethnic food.
What is that? And like, it wasn't even goulash; it was fucking spaghetti, or like her own little version of it. She just didn't use like the spaghetti noodles; she used a different noodles. So she was like, "Oh, this is goulash." I hated it. I fucking
You were like,
cannot
grandma,
stand it.
get out.
And then my other one, man, she makes she made tater tot casserole. Fuck, that was nasty, man. I was
that is very Midwest,
yeah,
man.
I hated it. I'm just like, my family doesn't know how to cook. They're trying to poison me. I'm gonna fucking figure this shit out on my own.
What effect did Rip have on your cooking?
Dude, he introduced me into like kind of just more non-typical meats, right? So like I'm used to like before Rip, beef, chicken, and some pork, right? And that was my kind of my horizon at that point. And then I went over to his house for like the solstice party and stuff. And man, he likes to cook lamb. So having lamb from him, it was amazing, and it made me really love and appreciate lamb in a different light. Um, and I remember he gave me some lamb shanks one time because he was just emptying out his freezer. And he's like, "Here, I'm not going to cook these. You cook them." I'm like, "Well, I don't know how to cook these." He's like, "Look, just roast them for like 35 minutes at a certain degree. Put some like Cavenders, some honey, and then a few vegetables in the pot with it, and you're good to go." And dude, it was fucking amazing. Him and Carmen, man, she makes these beans at the seminar. Did you have the beans at the seminar?
No,
Oh yeah,
I didn't bean up at the seminar, man.
Dude, she makes these pork beans that are just amazing, and she whoops shit out of thin air, man. She's like a magician in the kitchen.
Man, yeah, rip at the solstice party, giving people lamb shanks, just toss them out at
Dude, I
people.
mean, it's like, I remember one time too. I was over there and I was helping him. I was helping him do something on his property, like clean up a bunch of brush piles, and he was making liver. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? This smells like
Ooh,
ass.
I
He's
love
like,
liver.
no, 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 you've never had this, so shut your mouth
Mm.
and let me give you something. And he gave me some liver, and he's like, sear, and then he put it on my plate. And I'm like, rip, this is like not cooked.
Am I going to die?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, what the fuck is this? He's like, no, it's fine. And just try it. And I ate it. I was like, damn, this is actually really tasty. And he's like, look, now try a little bit of mustard on it. I'm like, man, it's pretty damn good.
Yeah, it takes I feel like it takes a long time to develop taste
Mm.
as a cook.
That's right.
Just a long ass time. And it makes me so sad because it's like my mom's like, what? She's like 55, 56 now. Zero idea how to cook. Still, I'm like, how are you alive? What happened?
Yeah.
I
Like, how have you
so
not
hope
fucking
your mom
figured
comes
this
in
out?
on the live chat. Just you're grounded, son.
How dare you?
Embarrass the family like that.
Oh man. Yeah. So these are my favorite resources for cooking. Jacques Pepin, he has a ton of really good videos on breaking down animals. Like his video on how to make like a French omelet and then a country style omelet. I've watched it like 85 times. Even just like the heat control, like Chase was saying earlier, the pan control that you need to make a really good omelet. It just takes a very long time to cultivate. Jacques Pepin, really good resource for that. America's Test Kitchen. Have either of you guys watched that show before?
I don't think I've heard of it.
Okay, Mick, that makes sense that you haven't watched it because you're not American. So I guess whatever, sucks for you. But yeah, America's Test Kitchen.
Is that where they're making their own testosterone?
Yeah, yeah, that's the Texas Test Kitchen. That's Rip synthesizing his test in his all stone house that's built into the side of a hill. I've never
I
seen
would
it.
watch
I
the
just
shit out
picture
of
it.
that show.
I just picture the house looking like the houses from from Lord of the Rings from the Shire. That's what
Not
I picture.
far off.
He lives like a
Not
hobbit.
far off.
Yeah, that's exactly what I picture. I've never seen the house, but that's their thing. But yeah, they basically go over 2 or 3 recipes. They go over all of the things they've tried, the reasoning as to why they came for that recipe, all kind of the very specific tweaks for it. They have a ton of seasons now, but if you have access to like the America's Test Kitchen archive, I have a few of their cookbooks too. They are just like the incredibly well thought out recipes. Really like America's Test Kitchen. Like Teo here, he said Ethan Schlabowski or whatever has a good channel. He is a bit annoying, but he has good content and learn a lot. Burger Scholar Sessions is also a must. I haven't heard of Burger Scholar Sessions. But yeah, I have Schlabowski there. He's a really good YouTuber. He has like really practical cooking advice, I think. And he's also kind of like into fitness a little bit. Like I've seen him doing like a shitty pull up and like 115-pound front squat and like a little like moving around. He was like, "Yeah, I like to work out," and has tried his best.
Did he have a
yeah,
chef
Adam
apron on whenever he was doing it?
No, he didn't. He just had a black hoodie on. It was kind of
Oh.
sad. But yeah, he's kind of just like a young guy. I think he's a little bit older than Chase, maybe a little bit younger than me. But he's just like very practical chef's advice. So yeah, we've talked about the steaks, we've talked about the chicken thighs. What would you guys say is kind of the must-haves for the kitchen for cooking? I put this in my priority order personally. You guys may disagree with me.
Man, I agree with basically the top 4. Like for me, for instance, like my number 1 I use basically daily is my cast iron. And that's from cooking eggs, cooking bacon, something to hold a bunch of grease, to holding, the content so I can make gravy, searing, all this crazy shit.
Do you make gravy in your cast iron?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yep.
How do you make gravy?
Do you have one with a pour spout on the side?
Yeah, I have one.
Man, those are great. It's like 30 pounds, I'm sure.
So what I do, Mick, is like I get like stew meat, and I either like pressure cook it or I just kind of like let it sear, and then I take the juice from the meat. It's hard to do that with steak because I don't want to use that much butter because Feed's all health conscious and shit. I'm like, all right, whatever. But I can do that, or I can just make a glaze out of it, right? But with my gravy, I use the juices from the beef stew or just some beef tips that I'm cooking, and I trap that, and then I'll put some cream, some milk, and some flour, and then whatever spices that I want to kind of mix, and it's amazing.
God damn, I'm getting hungry.
That's a very southern way of making gravy. If you ever look up like Southern gravy, they end up coming out pretty white. They're not like as brown as a lot of people think like Thanksgiving gravy is. Excellent. Do you do biscuits, Chase? Do you ever do biscuits and gravy?
So I'm not really big on baking. I haven't baked yet. Like I would love to. I think what I've kind of done is I made a beef Wellington one time, and I guess that's kind of baking in a way, where I used just
Yeah.
the
You got to roll.
the
Oh, if it's got
crazy
meat in the
that
middle of it,
haven't
you'll
done
bake it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish America got into savory pies.
Yes.
Oh, savory pies.
Yeah.
See,
Dude,
sweet
definitely.
pies over here are weird.
Really?
What
Yeah.
do y'all have?
I remember being given
Like
a mince
Vegemite?
pie at when I was working in an office once, thinking, oh yeah, great. Because a mince pie over here is a beef mince pie. And I bit into it and it was sweet and gross. And I just still remember looking at the person like, what fucking prank
What
have
did
you
you
just
give
played
me?
on me?
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, American pie is totally sweet. All the best food comes in pie. Yeah, making a good pie crust, that took me probably like 3 or 4 years of making a pie, probably maybe once a month, 2 times a month to get a really good pie crust down.
Mm.
I think a knife is the most important thing. I feel like you can get away with having a shitty pan or a hand-me-down pan. But I think most people, they'll end up either because like buying pre-cut meat, it's relatively expensive. I tend to just buy whole chickens, or I tend to buy like a whole tenderloin, like Chase is saying. Even buying larger cuts of beef or pork or something like that, and then cutting it yourself. Having a good knife to me is a must. Even if it's chicken thigh, like Mick does, and I have to trim the chicken thigh and debone it. Like you need a really good sharp knife. I think a lot of people they don't have quality knives. The brand that I always recommend, Mercer has really good knives. They don't break the bank. Victorinox has a really good chef's knife. I have 3 knives, but I have a 6-inch chef knife. I have a paring knife. I have a 3-inch paring knife, and then I have a vegetable chopper for if I'm doing like bulk carrots or cabbage or things like that. How are you guys? Do you guys get into knives at all? What are you guys using?
Phoebe has a few. I forgot what they're called, but I've actually Rip gave me
Did Rip give you a knife?
Yeah, he did. He gave me
It looks like the one from Rambo. Is it one of those knives?
No, it's not. It's not like
that's sick.
survival knife. What the fuck is it? It has its own little sheath. Used mainly for just kind of dicing up. Not really dicing, but kind of filleting and stuff like. I guess it's a fillet knife. I don't know.
Is it like long and thin
Yes,
and tapers
yeah.
off to the end? Okay, that's probably a fillet knife.
Okay,
then.
yeah.
I feel like that's going to be the next Starting Strength branded product to buy. It's the Starting Strength cooking knives.
Hell yeah.
I would totally buy it.
I would
totally
too.
buy it. If they
It'd be bloody good, I reckon.
Yeah. Just good taste in things. Do you guys feel like Mick? We didn't answer you. What are you using for knives?
I bought a good one, but I just cannot for the life of me remember what kind it is. And I have
it was like a one and done for you.
Pretty much, yeah. I have one knife and it works well, and I've had it for a couple of years and never had to sharpen it. So,
yeah, I think the people who buy kind of signs of really shitty bad cooks, people who aren't just into cooking, the people who buy like a big knife set or people who buy a big pan set. It's like I use 2 pans.
Yeah. I'm the same.
I use 2 pans and sheet pans. Because it's kind of like you need to get really good at cooking on one material. You need to get really good at cooking on one pan with heat management. So it's like, Chase, when do you not use your cast iron?
Fuck. Dude,
it's hard to think.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't use it for eggs. I find eggs. I mean, in mine's technically a cast iron, but it's just I prefer a stone pan for eggs because they cook a not nicer, don't stick as much.
Yeah, I think maybe once or twice I've used it for like a normal just pan for maybe like some sort of vegetable. I forgot, maybe like a squash or something, so I didn't get too mushy from the heat. I don't know.
Yeah, I use primarily carbon steel. It's basically it's very similar surface to cast iron. It's just a little bit thinner. It has pretty similar qualities with heat retention and then like being relatively even on heat. I use carbon steel for all of that stuff. If I'm ever doing anything acidic or like Chase was saying, like a vegetable that's going to release a lot of water. Because to evaporate all that water off, you need to heat a little bit higher to do it in a kind of a timely manner. Then I'll use ceramic. Mick, what about you?
Yeah,
you just got the carbon steel.
You
right?
put me onto carbon steel. I got that. Very happy with that. And I've got just one stone fry pan, which is also I've had that for a couple of years, and that's pretty much all I've got in terms of stovetop cooking.
Okay, so we're taking it off the stovetop. You guys are big fanboys, big fangirls over the air fryer.
Well, yeah,
Pretty-
air fryer and
pretty
the pressure
simple.
cooker are my other two sort of main go-tos.
I do not own those. I have a rice cooker. That's it. That's the only.
Yeah, no,
That's
you
the only
gotta get
non-pan
yourself, because
implement
pressure
I have.
cooker, it just opens up a whole new world of
It
just
does.
cooking not sort of cheap meat, cheap fatty meat that you otherwise couldn't do really
Yeah, tough as shit.
yeah.
you can just
But if
make
you
it
pressure
edible.
cook it in the right stuff,
Yep.
it's just glorious.
So what are you guys pressure cooking then?
Chuck,
Yeah.
chuck, lamb shanks. What else have I done in there? Oh, I mean, I'm doing bone broths in it as well. Like I'll get a whole chicken and just do a whole chicken for
Just
an hour.
dunk it in
just
there?
Tuck the whole thing in. Then you get just a couple liters of just great bone broth. What else have I been doing in there? Ribs are great in the pressure cooker.
Really?
Yep. It just
Okay.
breaks everything down, and you don't have to just leave it in the oven for 4 hours. It's kind of done in. I don't know what ribs are normally sort of. I guess it depends what kind of rib. But beef short ribs are normally 50 minutes in the pressure cooker, and
How do you pressure cook your ribs then? Because are they going to be dry?
Just vertical? Are they dry?
Do you
You're
have to
soaking
wrap
them
them
in
around?
liquid?
A little bit of liquid, and usually I'll put I'll marinate them in, say, a barbecue sauce beforehand, and I'll just dump them all in with a little bit of extra water, and that's pretty much it. And then I'll try to make a gravy out of what's left over at the end of it to go on top.
The drippings. Okay.
It's good stuff.
Man, I don't know. It just feels so. I consider like pressure cooker, slow cooker, things like that. I consider those passive. It's like you just set it up and then leave. I just don't find that fun, man. It's not as fun for me as taking care of the pan.
Well, I mean, you're not going to. I mean, there's just some things you just can't do in a pan. You can't cook, a whole bunch of short ribs in a pan, basically.
Is it that big of a difference in baking? What would be the primary argument for doing pressure cooking for these
Much
things
faster.
as opposed to baking in the oven?
Time, man.
Is it
It's
just
much
speed?
faster.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a lot. I mean, I don't know what beef short ribs would take in the oven. 3 hours, maybe more.
Yeah.
You do that shit in 45 minutes with a pressure cooker.
If you need beef fast.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you need beef fast, cook a steak in 5 minutes. But pork belly as well, stuff like that. Pork belly is great in the pressure cooker.
Do you guys do pork shoulders? Do you ever do big pork butts or pork shoulders?
I've done lamb shoulders in the pressure cooker. That's pretty good. Never done a pork shoulder, I don't think. Pork shoulder is probably better in a barbecue, I think.
No, I've done mine in a slow cooker or crock pot.
Okay. Yeah. I've tried to do pork shoulder in the crock pot before, and I've noticed it just gets overcooked to fuck all.
Well, how long did you cook it for? Like, I think mine cooked for like maybe 7 hours. Like I went real slow with it.
I think it was just temperature was just too high, frankly. I think I just have a shitty slow cooker. I'm barely using
Are you brining it though?
No, I do dry rubs on my pork shoulder. I've been doing pork shoulder recently, and then in the oven at like 245 for like 16 hours, basically. I set it in the afternoon, and then like the following morning or evening, I'll be like, all right, it's time to take this out.
I think you should actually, I mean, if you're going to invest 16 hours in something, I reckon you should actually invest it in a sous vide, because you're not going to have that. You're not going to have the dry problem with pork in a sous vide because it cooks it at the perfect temperature. I mean,
I think I like the bark on the outside. Since now I have an oven that's low enough, because I think the crock pot was just too high of a temperature. I think that was a problem. Whereas my oven, I can put it like 225, 245, and it can like hold it.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess that's probably is quite a similar way to cook it if you're cooking it on a low temperature like that. With the sous vide though, yeah, you're right. You're not going to get that sort of charred stuff on the outside, but you can chuck it on the cast iron. You can slice it up and just chuck it on the cast iron after you're done. And even better,
have you guys gotten into smoking things? Either of you guys into smoking things?
No,
I mean, my boss, Colby is, man, and he can smoke the shit out of some stuff. He has this badass grill. And it's all like high tech to where like it's all.
Is it the Traeger one?
I think so, but it's something that's all filled in with pellets and it's all apped on his phone. Dude, it's like
that's the Traeger one.
Yeah, it's fucking insane, right? Just how much ingenuity and thought's been into this. But dude, he'll send me pictures of like brisket or just like chickens, like half chickens or whole chickens. Fuck, man, they look so good.
I would really like to have one of those. Then one day that'll be a good one. have the
one of those
future
green
grill.
eggs too. I want one of those.
The what?
Have you ever seen one of those? It's called the green egg, and it's like a grill smoker, kind of like almost everything in one. They're just
Is it shaped like an egg?
Yeah, look it up real quick.
Okay,
It's
all right. Hold on.
it's almost like bomb proof. So if like you could like hide in like a nuclear bomb, I want to like be inside of a
Oh
green
yeah,
egg.
damn.
Okay, this is pretty serious.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
top notch shit, man.
This
You
is
pull it
this is
up.
not the casual man's sort of cooking implement.
Fuck no, man. You're going in for the meats.
Yeah. Okay, so this
It's like
is
a tandoor kind of.
$900 here. Have you seen one of these? Oh shit, that's way bigger than I expected.
No, I never have.
Okay,
Well, I mean, I've seen them
yeah,
like in person,
that
not,
dude's
but
lowering
like
the
I've never
whole thing
been,
in there.
I never like used one or have ate meat that's been cooked on one. I just, like passed by it like in a sporting goods place and stuff like that.
Damn, people are putting pizzas in these.
Mm. So it's
Oh wow,
actually
you have to pick it up. Oh, they leave the warehouse. They have a Dallas warehouse. This is a $900 big egg. That's so interesting. So this is like a grill and a smoker basically at the same time. That's pretty cool. I don't know, man. I'm just like a one pan sort of guy. Pete said it here. He said the DeBuyer carbon steel pans are great. I have a DeBuyer. That one's my favorite. Do everything on that thing.
Yeah, that's where I'm at in life now as well. It's just like, I use my air fryer 90% of the time just to cook stuff, just because of the convenience. It does what I want it to do. But
yeah, so that's another thing. Are you guys what is the most important thing on cooking for you? Is it convenience? Is it minimizing actual labor, but you're okay with it being fast? You're maximizing for taste? What are you guys mainly into at this point in your life?
Man, that's a hard one. It just kind of depends on what I'm cooking, right? Like the majority of the time, I need shit fast, and it's just going to be, predominantly meat, right? So I'm searing a bunch of stuff. I'm leaving some nice coolness in the middle, or I'm just cooking ground beef. But if I'm actually like, hey, we have a menu, or not a menu, but a recipe that we want to follow, then I'll take my time. I'll, if we are missing stuff like kitchenware, we need to go buy it and fix it. Like, for example, Rips chili, like that was a long process, but dude, that chili was
Yeah.
it was
It was
badass.
worth it, man.
It was
I've
really damn good, dude.
did you
Have you made that, Mick?
No. I've made chili before, but it's probably shunned if I gave the recipe away in Texas.
Yeah. I've made it before. I was making chili before you putting other shit in it. A bunch of other shit. And then I didn't really know there was a version of chili where it was like, no, it's just meat and chili powder. That's fucking it. That was a game changer. The Rip chili recipe.
That was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For me, it's a combination of both convenience and taste. But usually I'll find something I like eating, and I'll pretty much eat the same thing every day. So just because I can't be bothered, how much time do you need to spend working out what you're going to eat for the week if you have to eat something different every single day? It's just a time kill. And then also that means especially for things like you're trying to get enough protein as well. It just requires so much planning, where I can just like, no, all right, I'm going to eat half a kilogram of chicken thighs. I'm going to eat 6 eggs and have a protein shake, and that's my 200 grams of protein there. Tastes good. I enjoy it. Get sick of it once a week, and then I'll go out and get some takeout. But yeah, that's just ease and convenience and taste.
Chase, you're kind of in the middle.
I am.
How often are you doing kind of like a nice cooking night with Phoebe, doing a little recipe, finding something in specific?
Man, we've actually been kind of venturing out, and we're trying new spots. But what we find out is like, one, I can cook meat than probably 95% of the restaurants we go out.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, like we actually went to a ramen shop, and man, it was pretty damn good. Like I don't know how to cook ramen. I'm not planning on doing that, but they had this basically pan fried rice, and we're like, fuck, we can do this way better, or we can make our own little spin off of it. So that's right. That's what we're gonna do tonight, is actually make some chicken fried rice. But it's everything does revolve around taste, but at the same time, for me, it's a little bit of what Mick was saying, is like conveniency. As I get off of work after my late night classes, like the last thing I want to do is spend another hour and a half just fixing some shit. And
Mhm.
Phoebe's about to go to bed too, so it's like, look, we're gonna sear some steaks, and that's gonna be it.
Yeah, sear some steaks. I feel like Chase's meat bill every month is equal to my grocery bill, my entire grocery bill.
How much do you pay for groceries?
Oof, man, I would say at most $350 a month.
Oh, I'm actually lower, man. I'm probably about 300, 275, but it's basically
Okay.
all meat.
It's all meat
And
for
then
you.
maybe a rice or some.
Is that including going out?
Oh, no.
Okay, yeah, that's
Yeah.
okay. I think that's where the difference is. I think for me, cooking, it's one of my fun activities. I find cooking and working out to be fun, so I dedicate time to like learn about them and do them as a recreational activity. Yeah, so I would say cooking Chinese food, Japanese food, those have been like my absolute favorite types of nationalities of food to cook. And then the baking stuff, all of that's just, standard French American fare.
Mm.
I think taste wise, I almost just don't make anything that I consider to be bad but still eat it. I think even like if you get good at making an omelet, you can make like a 3 or 6 egg omelet in 3.5, 4 minutes maybe.
Yeah.
And then have it taste great.
Yep.
Have like a really good restaurant quality omelet.
Mm.
Like I've been getting into like making like pretty intricate sandwiches recently because I found a bakery with some good bread, like some good brioche sandwich bread. And then I can whip up like I think better or restaurant quality, like really good chicken thigh or chicken breast sandwich. Probably takes me like 8.5, 10 minutes,
Yep.
including like getting the chicken out, heating the pan up, grooming the chicken, whole thing done.
What are you doing to the chicken?
You have to groom the
Grooming
chicken,
that
man.
chicken?
I have to groom the
You
chicken. I have
choking
to
that
teach
chicken,
it about
Alex?
Yeah.
all of the different identities
You
that
have to
chicken can
gain
take.
its trust and
Yeah, I know. Yeah, sometimes I put little dresses on my chicken and I tell it that it's totally normal.
Yeah. You know what we forgot to cover in the previous page, I reckon, is like a critical thing to have in the kitchen is a lot of Tupperware.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah,
have a
man. I
lot.
use heaps of Tupperware, man. it's just it's just one of
Okay.
those things. It's
Some-
like I store everything in Tupperware and it just makes everything so much easier having to get a bowl and put cling wrap on it. And
Yep.
it's just it's just a convenience thing. Again, a convenience thing. It's where I marinate all my meats and stuff in as well. I just leave it in the fridge.
Are you using glass or plastic?
I'm using plastic, but
Yeah.
I mean, are you one of those people
Mick.
that's like, oh, all the plastics are leaching into your body?
Literally, yes.
All right, well, I'm going to get
Is
some glass
Phoebe- is
ones
that
now.
Phoebe dying in the kitchen?
Phoebe right now, man.
She's trying to figure
Wait,
out
you
how
think
the
this
kitchen
could
works.
be all of my medical issues? Is because I'm using plastic Tupperware?
Well, like literally, you know what? There was probably like 60 years ago. My grandfather was making fun of someone like, "Oh, what? You don't have lead paint in your house, you pussy?" You know what I mean?
You don't take
He's
cocaine
like,
to
"What?
get rid of a cold?
You're gonna go get some fancy fucking not lead paint,
Pussy.
Yeah, exactly." And then someone's like, "I don't want lead. I just feel really weird whenever I have all this, touching all
I
this
guess
lead."
that's possible. It's not a bad idea to actually upgrade all that stuff to glass. So there you go.
Well, because what I noticed is when I used to do like strict meal prep. When I was in college, everything in a slow cooker. I would have like 20 to 30 meals in my fridge just at any given time, just like pop them out. I would take a little cooler with me when I went to campus with my pre-made meals. When I did that, I was using plastic Tupperware, but like with the microwave cycles and everything, I would go through Tupperware like a pack of it like every 2 or 3 months, and then we've gotten like a nice glass set recently, and then that's been great.
I never
See,
microwave
like
that stuff.
we try not to. I just keep it as storage, and then if I need to, like, let's say reheat some rice, I'm gonna put it on a plate, and then good from there. Because I think once you start inducing some heat with the plastic, you're gonna eat some plastic rice.
Yeah, I feel like I've probably eaten a lot of plastic in my life.
I think we all probably have. Yeah.
Tupperware, that's good. You know what I didn't mention on there? Sheet pans for baking. I think a lot of people have weird baking vessels and they don't understand what a good thin stainless steel sheet pan is. You need to get those because if you get an actual one, like it will form like a fond coming off the bottom of it. Like it's really quality. You need some good sheet pans. Have a few of them. I think Chase disconnected, Mick.
Oh,
seen that?
He's having a stroke. Either or.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's in the same exact
He's
frame.
got too hungry.
Died.
He's just like, I've had enough of this.
Phoebe accidentally killed herself in the kitchen. Ben Lacasse, he said something that was interesting. I would move the Instapot higher up on the list. A lot of guys living in dorms or military barracks, that's the easiest way to cook. Yeah, when I was living in dorm, the rice cooker for me with like the little steam tray on the top, that was primo. That was absolutely primo. The green egg is amazing. Cool Dude 69 has seen a green egg in real life.
Apparently,
what did Chase say?
Chase said, "What happened to the stream?" I said, "Still going, man. You dropped
Who
out."
knows, man? What happened?
Yeah. Then he said a rude word.
Very...
Should we do some form checks because we're sort of starting?
Yeah, we have form checks going on.
Yeah.
Man. Hold on, let me pull those up. I had so much more of a spiel.
Well, we can do a part 2 next week if you want.
We could do a part 2. I have like idea. A literal. I've introduced many people into cooking who actually care about eating things.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm a huge fan. We have like 8 or 9 form checks that we should get through. Cool. This is what Mick says. Mick says every time, he's like, you know what? I love doing form checks, so we need to see these. And I'm like, okay, man, I get it.
I think Chase is done.
R.I.P. Chase. Yep. All right, so we have one from a repeat guest by the name of Joaquim Riss.
He's changed the name of his because
hold on, let me fix this guy. He changed his name on the
he changed I think he changed his name of the file names because we sort of were making fun of the way it was the German pronunciation. The way it's spelled in German looks like a fairly Joachim rapeseed oil.
All right, so everybody, I will say that people always, I'll tell people to get dedicated squatting shorts. I'm like, listen, go to a weightlifting company, get squatting shorts because they're specifically cut for squatting. And people will be like, Alex, you can squat in any short. What the fuck are you talking about? This is why, ladies and gentlemen, I have to point this way. You see what I'm talking about here? If you get not squatting shorts, they ride down, and then you get a little plumber's crack going on. And then at the top, there's this terrible thing that happens where they just like, this terrible valley pops up. You got to get squatting shorts, people.
I mean, this guy's squatting. It looks like he's squatting in his own house, though. So, I mean, who really cares?
Oh, when I had a home gym, I just lifted in my underwear.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
The entire time. Underwear only.
Mm.
Mick, are you out on the balcony in your underwear when you lift?
No, not really.
You think the government would not allow that for indecent
exposure? I feel like I'll probably end up on Reddit or something. Guy squatting in underwear on his balcony. Like I don't want to be that guy.
Okay, so I will say this, gentleman, these are relatively light squats. He has decent back extension in the whole thing. Hips are coming out of the bottom. He is getting onto his heels. That's really the only thing that we need to fix here. So his hips, he's going hips back as opposed to hips up. What I like to tell people is keeping the bar a little bit forward the entire time. They'll feel like it's forward, but in reality, it's right on their midfoot. If you cue him like dig his toes into the ground or something, it's not really going to change anything. He's still going to be able to shoot his hips back. What we need to change is where he's trying to put the bar, not how he's feeling the floor. Because I think if you put an extra 25 pounds on here, he'll be able to move it if it's correct. He won't be able to move it if he gets on his heels that much. Yeah. But these are really solid. These are like super solid, super fast. Just need to stay a little bit more on the toes.
Yep. On your
anything else you want to mention here, Mick?
He's got some interesting stuff going on underneath the rack, though. Like he's protecting the floor.
Just cardboard?
Yeah, it looks like it.
To protect the floor?
Mm-hmm. All right. Next.
He's also running out of plates. I think he only has some 25s and some other 10s here.
I don't think he's deadlifting in that place, but anyway.
All right. Oh, here we go. We got a longtime friend of the show, Leo here.
This is the guy from Brazil.
This is our Huazilian, our man from Brazil.
The guy we told to change gyms about 2.5 years ago, but still living in the same gym.
Hey man, but we told him to get shoes like as soon as this started, whenever we started, and it took like a year for him to get shoes.
Yeah.
But his beard, literally, he has not shaved it the whole time. It just keeps getting bigger.
It's so light. It's just so wispy. You can't even.
I'm going to try to find a good contrast shot.
Yeah, look at that.
All right, so people just hopefully you can see this, but his beard, it's down there. So his chin's about here. His beard is going all the way down. It's easily over a foot long at this point.
And gray as well. That's crazy.
And gray, like God. I hope this guy is just shredded.
You think it's just a disguise? I think it's a disguise at this point.
Oh man, that could be it. He could just be, like hiding, and then he has a fake beard. I just hope this guy's on just on like a Brazilian beach smoking a cigar, absolutely shredded, 6-pack, giant gray wizard beard. That would be amazing.
Wearing a thong.
No. He's doing the James Bond bathing suit in Casino Royale. He's getting
grape smugglers.
Yep. Yeah. He's all donged up down there. Is what's going on.
Yeah. Anyway, anywho.
All right. What do we think about these squats? I think he should probably be starting his bounce about right here. However, he's going to go down maybe another 2 inches. Boop. Yeah, he gets down a little bit lower than that and gets too loose.
What do you think about his back angle?
I think if he stopped it right at depth, it would be fine, but it's too vertical for how deep he's going is what's happening.
Is that why his back's coming up? His back angle's coming up and then dipping down?
That's the next thing, is that he's getting a little bit, he's chesty on the descent, and then his back angle is settling into the correct position. So like that last rep was actually totally fine. Like the hips are coming up. Like here, it's still fine. This back angle is what we expect.
Yep. No, I mean, I thought maybe it looked like as he was descending, it looked a bit too vertical.
Yeah, he's staying too vertical on the descent for sure.
And then it goes to that. So that's the correct angle there as he's coming up.
Yeah. So the ascent generally forces the correct angle to happen.
Okay. There he is.
All right. Who the fuck is this guy?
Here's that boy.
FBI agent, man, was just like, hey, I can't have you on my computer without my consent. Took me
That's
off.
really funny. Did you text Mick what happened to the stream?
Yeah, I thought it was one of y'all, and then
automatically blames us.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah, Mick and I were like, man, we don't know what happened to the stream. I don't know. But do you remember Leo, Chase?
Yeah.
Look at how big his beard is now. Look at how far. Can you see how far that's reaching down?
Gandalf-esque.
That's amazing, man. Yeah, send in a deadlift, Leo, so we can get a frontal shot.
Send us a photo of your beard.
Or a press, man. God, that'd be sick. All right, we got another one from Rasool. Rasool looks, he's very tall, and he has a short torso and very long legs, so this should be good. All right. It seems like he has 295 in the bar, I believe. Okay. Chase, are these coming in a good frame rate for you? Can you see this?
Yep.
All right, perfect. His internet is back, everybody.
We're all good.
What do you think?
He's going to have to establish his hips and knees, meaning his back angle needs to be a little bit more horizontal, and his knees are kind of just always drifting, or they're where they need to be, but his back angle isn't set right. So a good fix for this would just make like the shoulder blades and the kneecaps touch together and just really close like your hip angle or the hip crease, and this should be fine.
Yeah, punch your pecs down between punch your pecs. Get your pecs between your knees. He's doing this interesting thing, and I'll see some people do it where it's like when they start the rep, they'll kind of do this weird little like hup with their body, and then their toes will pop off the ground. I think that's kind of a maturity thing. I never really see people who are lifting very heavy weights do that. I will see people who are like in their LP and they've been squatting for 2 months. Like this 295 is not heavy for him, and he's still kind of popping his toes up. But yeah, man, you got long legs, so it's going to take a minute for you to get down there. But like lean over, let yourself be comfortable on the descent. Some of his reps a little bit later on. Let's see if we can just find one of them. They're good. That bottom position's not terrible. It's just kind of like what Chase was saying. It's like how you're getting there is the problem. It's not necessarily the terminal position. It's how you're progressing to that position. And I would like to see more hip drive. I think hip drive, that'll have more horizontal back angle. Other than that, I think that's totally fine.
Yeah.
Any parting shots for our boy Rasool?
Send us another video, mate. Keep them coming.
No, usually
I'd like to see his deadlift.
What do you say that?
I just like seeing people with really incredibly long legs, tall people with long legs and short torsos deadlift. It makes me feel better about my deadlift. That's what I think. That's what I think I need. All right, we got another gentleman. He seems to be squatting some amount of weight here. His name is Nicholas. It could be Nicholas, and he just spelled it wrong, or it could be Nicholas. Niclas. It seems like, how much do you think that's a 45 in the middle there, Chase? It goes like wide plate, thin plate, wider plate.
Maybe. What is that on the? Is that a 25 on the before the smaller plate?
It says 15 kilos.
Okay,
so who
it's all
knows how much
kilos.
that is?
35 pounds.
Mick, don't.
Sorry, boys.
Don't lie on the podcast. People will know. You're just making up numbers.
And I think a lot of this is kind of just stemming from his gaze and stuff. So like he's either looking a little bit too close by his feet, his eye gaze is coming up on some of the reps, so his back angle is changing. Man, you need to look at like where the wall and the floor meet, right at that junction, and just keep your eyes there and try to put the belt in between your legs for as long as possible.
Yeah. Some of these are popping out on the toes. If you, on my screen, I have a higher resolution than those guys do. I can see his heels popping off the ground a little bit, but he's managing it well. He's digging his toes in the ground. He's managing it just fine. Like, move the gaze up. You will see some people where they can change where their eyes are and then not move their head at all. He also needs to move his head. His head is aimed a little bit too far down. That's one thing that should be made a little more explicit. I think sometimes I'll see that in the deadlift even. People are like, oh, pick your eyes up on the deadlift. And then people will just move their eyes and not move their head and nothing will be accomplished. So we need you to move your head a little bit too. Chase, have you seen one of these machines in the background? Have you seen this in real life before?
What is that, a tire?
It's like a tractor
Mick, have you seen this thing?
What is it?
So it is half of a tire. It's a brand new tire that they cut in half. And it is on it's on a swivel point. It's on like this joint, basically. It's on a hinge. So you can do tire flips, but not actually flip a tire. It has like this little suspension system underneath it. And then you can just flip the tire back and forth in the same exact spot.
Is it fun? Do you find that fun, Alex?
It's fucking gay.
Actually, no.
Oh.
I don't find it fun. Because the tire, here's the thing. The tire, it's not a heavy tire.
I was about to say, can you load it? Like make it heavier?
You can. They have like these little, basically like plate spots in the tire, but you can only fit 10s in there. So it's like at most you can make the tire like 40, 60-ish pounds heavier. But the tire, you can still, if you're an adult male, you can just still pop it up with one hand. It's basically like the older women / emaciated software developer tire. But what most people use it for is for like sledgehammer stuff. So it's like I've seen these in commercial gyms, and the personal trainer will be like, okay, we're gonna do sledgehammer rounds.
I feel like that.
And then you just have some guy just banging the shit out of a fake tire. It's amazing.
I feel like as a gym owner, the last thing you want people to be using in your gym is a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be like no chalk in the gym, but you can hit some of our equipment with a sledgehammer.
Don't drop your deadlift too heavily, but here's a sledgehammer.
Here's our designated
fucking machines
hitting tire.
All right, we're done with this guy.
Yeah, Nicholas is done. We're getting these weird European-ish people here.
That's good.
I need you guys to see this gentleman's name. It is a Brutushin is what the name is. Everybody, B-R-U-T-U-S-H-E-N.
I think I saw this guy's one.
Did you watch Brutushin?
I saw this bit and I was like, dude, you got to drop the racks down a bit. He's like dinging the bar against the rack as he's taking it out. It just looked terrible.
Oh, the hooks.
Yeah, he took it out. He just dinged it right against because they're too high.
Oh man, I would feel really bad if someone had to fix this at the seminar. I feel like this guy would be stubborn. He'd be a stubborn fix.
I don't think because of the name or because he's European.
No, it's because people who make their way up to these loads squatting with really weird technique, they're normally totally unaware of what they're doing. Is what I've noticed. All right, so he has what? 315, 35,
350,
45. He has 350 on the bar.
Oh man.
How would you go about? What would be the start for you, Chase?
Getting his back angle established, man. So what I would do is, if I had him in person, man, I'm gonna put one of my hands in his hip crease, about like where his waistline is, and then the other right on his upper back, and physically push him into position. Now I'm not gonna do that with 350 on his back, but like 135 or 95 on the bar, yeah, we're going to do that. And I'm going to hold him in a position as he goes down and on the way back up so he associates the correct back angle.
Does he have to tippy toe this back in? Let's see. No, he does. Okay, he's fine on the way back in. But yeah, lower the hook height, man, for sure.
This looked painful. Like taking that looked painful because he twists. So you see that he just
You have to train your spine's ability to rotate.
Rotate under massive loads.
God, you have to be an athlete. But yeah, so I think this is the reason why the teaching progression exists the way that it does. The things the teaching progression establishes are your stance, your back angle, where depth is. Those are like 3 things that are somehow very elusive for people on their squat for years, right? And then the point is to get it out of the way with body weight, and then that way you can first working set at 135, or first warm up set at 135. You can get those things out of the way. So like what Chase was saying with like tactile cues, like sometimes on the descent, I'll almost kind of put it right on their hip crease and the way to push down, and I'll push down their upper back at the same time. You can kind of push them down from 2 points. People who are really tight and reticent to get down to depth. He needs to lean over way more. He needs to widen the stance up, and he needs to figure out where depth is. His depth, I would say, even his best rep is still maybe a few inches high. You know, he needs to figure out how to squat with his hips. This is someone basically just squatting really with most of the other quads. So fixing this can take a minute. But yeah, man, teaching progression. Chase, I don't know if you ever did this, but whenever I started coaching, I would be a little bit reticent to start with the teaching progression. So I would say like, well, let's just look at your squat now, just start squatting, and then we'll see what we need to change along the way. After a certain point, I was just like, no, I don't care. You tell me you squat 400, you tell me you squat 450 for 5. I do not care. We're starting with the teaching progression.
It's kind of like the new coach, I wouldn't say fallacy, but just, you fall into that trap of like, oh man, like you said you squatted 225 and fucking you put 65 on the bar, and they're just like, I can't squat this. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. All these gyms look so fancy. Look how shiny the wall is. All right, so he has some tenors on the bar. They're not 10 kilos, for clarification. They're 10 pounds. He's squatting 65 pounds.
Look at the chick in the background.
No, that's all I'm looking at the moment is the girl in the background.
All right, we'll go back.
Across.
All right, everybody. I'm gonna hold on. There we go. She's right there.
Looks like Britney Spears is trying to like fucking.
Oh, I know what she's doing. She's pulling a sled backwards, which is
It's been popularized.
Recently, thanks to Joe Rogan.
Yeah, that knees over toes guy. I just started working with a female client. She's a lifetime runner who's been having knee pain, and she's been doing a quarter mile of backwards walking every morning. Every morning since her knee injury. It's been like 4 months basically.
Yeah.
A quarter mile of backwards walking every morning, like barely any resolution to her pain. She's like, well, I do my backwards walking for a quarter mile, and then I do at least 8 laps with the sled drag, and then I do the knees over toes routine. And it's like, has this been working at all? So he's like, I'm not really confident in it, And it's like, why have you been doing this for 3 months? God, that guy.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get old mate's squat sorted out.
I know. I'm going to be, my panties are in a jumble. You guys have to take this.
All right, Mick, what do we need to fix?
All right. I see this is actually the first time I've watched it now because all my attention was on the lady. All right. Well, yeah, I think like you said, the previous squat, just getting his back angle set. Looks like he's trying to stay vertical, but then he just totally rounds at the bottom there. So what would you do to fix that, Chase?
So he's trying to bend at the back instead of the hips, right? So he's associating with, look, my back has to be straight, but at the same time, I got to lean over, and it's just two conflicting things, right? He's going to have to shove his ass way back to the chick who's sled dragging and then keep his chin up, right? So he's going to stick his stomach in between his legs, drop his balls in between his legs, something of that nature. And then at the same time, show off his chest, spread his nipples, and to keep that bar position solid and his head gaze not all fucked up.
Yeah, I've noticed this with older gentlemen. John, one of my clients, if you're watching this, he does this as well. He just had a hip replacement. He physically can't close his hip angle very much. So what he'll do is an interpretation of leaning over is just aggressively rounding his back. So like when you're saying is like, get your chest down, get closer to the floor, keep going down. To try to solve that problem, these people, like including keeping their head down, they'll just physically just round the shit out of their upper back. They'll just turn into a question mark. You have to use a different cue set to tackle the problem a little bit differently. But yeah, widen the stance. Teach him what leaning over at the hips is like. For some of these people, they really have no idea what they're doing. I'll have them stand with their feet right under one of those safety bars, basically. So it's right about where their crotch is, and I'll just have them lean over it, basically, just like this. It'll keep their legs in place. Their legs are perfectly straight, and I'll be like, that's what leaning over is like. Your back can remain straight, but you're leaning over. And that always helps people out. Whenever it's a hard case like this. But you do see this sometimes, and it's always a little tragic.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Do you think you would reset the weight, Chase, or would you just keep going?
No, I think you can probably stay here at this weight. Maybe take it down like another 5 pounds, but this is extremely light to where this is not going to cause you any problems, because if it was heavy, you're going to dump the bar down your head and you won't be able to hold that position.
Yeah, that could be a new upper back exercise for you, Chase. Because you just let it curl and then uncurl it.
Like some upper back good mornings.
I know, yeah. Upper back only good morning squats. That would be the new thing from Starting Strength. All right. We have, okay, which one? We'll go for this one.
I think we've been going hour 10, I think.
All right.
Is there, have we got someone new that we haven't looked at yet?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
This gentleman is named ADSTADS, Adstads, or Android? He was just, I think he was just fucking on the keyboard and just typed some random letters if I had to bet. I think he's at 205 if I had to bet what this weight is. I also guess that he's going to squat with his stance a little bit wide, but we shall see.
This also looks like a European gym.
You think so?
Nope.
Because he's tall and thin?
Well, that and also he looks like he's lifting a bomb shelter. So that seems to be a quite a European thing. Might be his own basement, though, to be honest.
They're the worst. Ooh, berry toes.
Yeah, man, you definitely called it on the wide stance.
It's not as bad as I thought these were going to be.
They're not.
Mm-hmm. What would you fix here, Chase?
Definitely the stance, and he's going to feel a slight difference, right? So he's kind of getting this preconceived notion of depth because of just how tight his abductors are getting, how they're hitting extensibility way too early, right? Bring that in, narrow up his heels to where they're underneath his shoulders, and toe angle about the same, and just make him lean over a little bit more, and he'll find that balance, he'll find that depth and the balance, kind of all the big things that we're looking for.
Yeah, I think the stance is a big culprit, like Chase said. All the failure pattern on these is that you're getting on the toes. So figuring out, send your hips up and back a little bit more than just straight up. Don't tip forward with the bar. I think this is a pretty simple fix. You can fix this in 1 or 2 sessions, but overall pretty solid. Yeah, when he almost loses this last rep right there, it's because he's getting too far on the toes. Yeah, just a little shaky, a little bit of twist. I think that's it for Adstads, though.
Oh, yeah, Adsy.
The worst nationality, European. That's it. Any parting shots today, guys?
Nah, but I think we'll do like a part 2 for this cooking thing next week. What do you think?
Oh, yeah.
I think we need to get a bit more specific about cooking for strength training, but still a fair bit to go through, I reckon.
I expect a detailed outline and essay from you, Mick.
Oh, it's coming. You know me.
I am excited.
I'm well prepared for these podcasts.
Oh man. Chase, where can we find your Instagram?
Just Chase Lindley, all lowercase and put together.
All right,
efficient.
Perfect. MSG, Johnny G, or who's that? Cool Dude 69.
He wants us to mention that MSG is the most important thing when it comes to taste.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about MSG. I use it actually in my cooking. But that's it. Yeah, we'll find me links in the description, all that shit. But thank you all very much for watching.